We'll now go to Congresswoman Lauren Boebert from Colorado.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and thank you to the witnesses who are here today. I appreciate you taking the time to enlighten us, to inform us of what is going on. Many of us, maybe all of us, have been to the border at least once. I've been down there several times and seen firsthand exactly what's going on, what is creating Colorado to be what's causing Colorado to be a border state now, and just the horrible humanitarian crisis that goes along with that. So I appreciate your expertise that you're sharing here today. Ms. Bashman, thank you so much for just acknowledging and providing solutions for the children that we are losing. That truly is the most devastating aspect of everything that is happening at our southern border. Nearly 100,000 children missing. So thank you so much for your dedication and working with members of Congress to provide legislation and solutions so we can be proactive and prevent what is happening with them. So I just wanted to specifically thank you for your work. Obviously, we are facing the most severe border crisis in American history. Since Biden assumed office, over 8 million illegal aliens have crossed our southern border and have come into our interior. There's more than 6.2 million illegal aliens that have been captured and released. 6.2 that have been captured and released. Captured and sent back, that would be fantastic. We would be praising this administration. But also, if that many were being captured and sent back, I don't think we would have the surge that we do at our southern border. And I do believe that Joe Biden, if he would have done nothing at all when he got into office, we would not be experiencing this crisis that we are seeing. If he had done nothing and left President Trump's policies in place, we would not have this. We would not have nearly 100,000 children missing. Colorado would not be number 2 in the nation for fentanyl overdoses. We would not have the taxpayer expense that is paying to bus in illegal aliens and to house them and to provide for them. It was said here today that there's some $800 a day that these families are getting in benefits. Now, with our Customs and Border Patrol agents, I've talked to you directly. I've spoke with you. I've heard the stories, and you mentioned this today, Mr. Judd, that it's policy. Policy is what we need to secure our southern border. A lot of people in this town think you just throw money at a problem and it goes away. I haven't seen that solve any problems yet, and I don't think that it's going to. So in hearing this, will you please elaborate on what policies we need to actually secure the border? Because if we do just give you more money, it's only for processing. And I don't think that the processing is very effective, especially when we first had notices to appear, then notices to report. I think it's something even lesser now. And then these folks are not showing up for their hearings. So could you please elaborate on the policies that we need to support our Border Patrol agents at the southern border?
So I sat down and I spoke with Secretary Mayorkas early in the administration. I said, if you're going to get rid of Remain in Mexico, which they had already done, said you're going to have to replace it with something else. What you're going to need to do is you're going to first need to challenge Flores. Flores, specifically, when that was envisioned, the idea was behind that every child has a right to develop outside of a detention facility. I don't disagree with that. I absolutely agree that every child should have the right to develop outside of a detention facility, especially if they're brought here not on their own, if they were brought here by their family members. So that's what Flores envisioned. But Flores never envisioned that these people were not going to show up to their court appearances. So when you go, if the government were to go back and say these people aren't showing up to their court appearances, they're disappearing into what President Obama termed the shadows of society, the courts would then have to look at this and say, okay, we have to do something. There has to be something to be put in place. So we need to challenge Flores. The other thing is we need to hold people into custody. We need to end catch and release. That is the #1 driver of illegal immigration. If we release people into the United States, we are ultimately rewarding them for violating our laws. That's exactly what they want. They want to be in the United States. If we were to hold people in custody pending their deportation or asylum proceedings, they should have the right. Our laws allow them to claim asylum. We're not talking about getting rid of that right. Let them claim asylum, but make sure you hold them in custody pending their asylum proceedings. Now, the pushback is going to be, well, we don't have the facilities to hold 300,000 people per month in custody. You're not going to have to. The moment you start holding the first people that cross the borders illegally in custody, they're going to stop coming. And the reason they're going to stop coming is because they're not going to waste thousands of dollars to criminal cartels knowing that they're going to be held in custody just to be sent back to their country. So they're going to stop coming. So you're not going to have those detention facilities. I spoke with him. I implored him to do exactly that, and he refused. This administration knows that there are solutions outside of Remain in Mexico, but I would say that Remain in Mexico is the perfect policy because our State Department has certified Mexico as a safe country. So if Mexico is in fact a safe country, why can't people wait there pending their asylum proceedings? But if you don't think that's humane, then make sure you come up with other policies that will ensure that we don't release people. The moment we stop releasing people is the moment that they stop coming. And the moment they stop coming, then we can go after the cartels. We can go after the drugs. We can ensure that American citizens' lives will be saved because we'll then have the resources to do exactly what we need to do.
Thank you. And with catch and release, certainly this is a problem, and it sounds like it's incentivizing the surge that we are seeing, and that's why there's 6.2 million that have been caught and released into our country's interior, which is certainly a problem. And now you mentioned the folks that are paying money to the cartel. They're buying their way into our country through the cartel, and it seems that the cartel have more operational control of our southern border than we do.
At any given time, they absolutely do. They flood our resources, create opportunities. They have control. They can create situations that they will have control. But what's really frustrating, when you listen to far left liberals and they talk about how much they care about people, if they truly cared about people, they would want this crisis to end, because what we're doing is we're forcing people into indentured servitude. Look, I make a good living. I don't have $50,000 just laying around to give to a cartel to take me to another country. So when these people come to our country and they're in debt thousands of dollars, they must go into indentured servitude to pay that debt back. That cartel will get paid. So everything that we see, yes, it's not humane, but it's not humane because of what Joe Biden says. It's not humane because these people are entering a contract where they're going to have to pay these cartels back, and that means they're going to serve them until that payment goes back. So yes, the cartels create opportunities. We're reactive. We're not proactive. They create opportunities, and then on top of it, the humane aspect of it is these people are going into indentured servitude, and it's because of our policies that allow that to happen.
Thank you. That absolutely is shameful that's put upon so many people to enter into indentured servitude, to have an opportunity to come into our country. That is not the American dream. You know, I've stood at naturalization ceremonies, and I've seen the people who have counted the cost to be United States citizens and invested their lives, their resources, their time, their minds. And I've also seen the conviction in their eyes once they are a naturalized citizen, and when they gaze upon our flag of the United States of America, that they know that that is the one true symbol of liberty and justice for all. And they were willing to pay the price because they knew that they had it in them to help make this a better union. And that's who we want here. We don't want the criminal aliens who aren't going through the processing at the border, who are coming through and are part of the gotaways because they have bad intents, ill intents in our country.